Geordie Journos back again, St James's Park. Newcastle United 4, Crystal Palace 0. Come straight to you guys, really. It was, for me, Newcastle United are starting to win games, just not even getting out of second gear. I think first gear is maybe a little bit of a disservice to some of the challenges they've had here, particularly Burnley the last time. Today, I mean, second gear, they're just winning at a canter. It's easy stuff, and I think probably the hardest thing for me to get used to, I would say, not only as a journalist, but obviously scratch the surface as a fan underneath, is that it kind of feels like this is what good teams do. Like, you just win easy, and you have to perform well below anywhere near your best for any team of a level to get a chance against you. Go on then, Jordan, you talk us through those goals and talk us through the performances as well.
Yeah,
we're all laughing, right? So we're going to let you on a little inside joke here when you see
no one
the
else
smirk
will find
there.
it funny, yeah, by the way. It's just
No.
our immaturity.
Yeah. So
Right.
we'll talk about the first goal and what you
Yes.
think it was, and then we can probably have a little childish chuckle in a minute.
So, Jacob Murphy, first goal. I thought it was a fluke. Some people might disagree. I haven't totally seen the replay, so I might change my mind, but as I speak now, I thought it was a fluke. And I also thought it was a cross-come shot.
So we had a little bit of debate about the spelling of this, and in our childish, we are journalists, by the way, and we are serious in my work. Look at Dom's face.
I can't believe we're talking about it. This is shocking.
Very, very childish Geordie Journos stuff, but yes, it was a cross-come shot, and we had a little bit of an education lesson to Jordan on how the correct spelling of cross-come shot. Look it up if you want, although might do things to your search history. Right, talk
Talk about the football.
talk about the football. Back to the football. You didn't think you meant the first one.
Yeah.
Jacob Murphy himself, like, it was just one of those kind of performances that he can put in, isn't it? That dropped into the team at times, he sort of produces the goods for Eddie Howe.
Yeah, an unsung hero, Jacob Murphy, for me. One of them players that, look, he's not that winger that's going to play 35 games a season and be a standout winger, but what Jacob Murphy does give you, and he showed that last season, is he comes in probably 5 or 6 games off the bounce and makes his mark on the team before an Almiron comes back in. He did it last season twice. You remember Newcastle last season got off to I suppose it was sort of an iffy start where they were struggling to win games, and then the international break came and it was that win at Fulham that almost like sort of ignited the season. Jacob Murphy started that day on the left hand side, I think it was, and continued in the team for 4 or 5 games. And then you fast forward to the end of the season when Newcastle had lost a little bit of form after that, or going into the Carabao Cup final. It was Manchester City away, obviously they lost here. They lost away, and then they came up against Wolves here, and Jacob Murphy again came back in the start 11. Newcastle won 2-1, and that was almost the result that sort of reignited the season again, and got them to Champions League football. So what Jacob Murphy does, he comes in for spells in the season and does a job. And I think you probably look at, he might not start a lot of games from now, but all I'm trying to say is that he's a man that you can depend on, and I think today was a really solid performance. What was it?
Couple of
two
assists as well.
goal.
Yeah, the second one was. Did he was an assist for the second one?
Yep.
Yeah, and
Should have
then
been
it was.
3 assists as well. Anthony Gordon missed the sitter before
Yeah,
he
when he
scored.
hit the ball.
Jacob Murphy put in 2 good crosses in quick succession. First one, Anthony Gordon hits the bar. Second one, he makes no mistake, and Newcastle go 2-0 up. So yeah, great performance from him.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. I think he's definitely got a good. He's worked his way as a real character and somebody who can be relied upon, and he loves the club, and he really gets what it means as a fan being out there.
you think about when this club got taken over, and you're looking at players who's going to leave, and let's be honest, probably top of that list, or near the top of the list, was Jacob Murphy. But it's credit to him and his personality and his character that he has found his place in this Newcastle United squad, and is quite content that he knows his role. He knows he's not going to start every game, but he gets opportunities, and when he comes in, again, he does a job. Look, he started at AC Milan, he's only started twice this season. Look, it wasn't his best attacking performance. Obviously Newcastle were reined in by AC Milan that day in terms of trying to get out at AC Milan, but Jacob Murphy done a defensive job that day. And today, okay, maybe the opposition helped against Crystal Palace, but he give you both sides. He was really good defensively. He had some very important defensive contributions, and of course the attacking stats speak for themselves, a goal and 2 assists. So yeah, big praise from me, from Jacob Murphy. You asked Eddie Howe about it at the end, so yeah, I can't fault the lad. I love everything about him. I love his face when he scores. It never fails to deliver. It was another good celebration today. His face was a large big smile on it. So yeah, I'm full of praise for Jacob Murphy.
I don't think the Palace left back particularly enjoys coming to St James's Park, because if he's not getting ragged around by Mickey Almiron, he's getting run ragged by Jacob Murphy. Dom, talk us through the rest of it. I mean, there was big contributions across the rest of the team. Save Fabian Schär for me, because I'm gonna wax lyrical in a few moments' time. But there were some big performances. Trippier, as we expect, Bruno and others as well.
Yeah, I think Trippier is one. He played a key role in the first goal and had a hand in. I said to you in the live stream afterwards, he had a hand in almost everything Newcastle did well before he came off. He seemed to be carrying a little bit of a knock that he took early on, making a good challenge down in front of us, really, just to the right of us in the press box.
Was that left back again?
Yeah.
He had a right day again.
And Trippier, I mean, you look, most chances created of any player in the Premier League, 8 assists this season. It's just incredible numbers, really, and you thought he couldn't get much better as a 32-year-old last season playing for Newcastle. He's 33 now, and I think he's taken things up a level in terms of, certainly in an attacking sense anyway, and what he's producing, the numbers he's producing, the chances he's creating. He deserves a shout out. But yeah, Bruno continues his good run of form. Sean Longstaff as well asked Eddie Howe after the game. Sean Longstaff's really found a bit of an eye for goal this season, 3 goals already, his best or joint best scoring season for the club. So you'd imagine by the end of the season, if he continues at the rate he's scoring goals, he could be pushing that sort of double figures. Would be a bit fanciful, but he certainly can get in and around that mark. When you're looking at the runs he's making and the chances he's getting for himself through his own hard work and endeavour, and you said, Liam, during the game, that Sean Longstaff sort of ghosting run into the box is almost the new Miggy Almiron ball over the top.
It is, and you look, Almiron got double figures last season out of nowhere. He hadn't got anywhere close to that previously. There's no reason the eye for goal that Sean Longstaff has and the finishing ability that he has, why he can't try and look. That should be his aim this season. His aim should be to get double figures, because, like you said, everyone will know what I'm talking about. The little flick ball over the top from Bruno to Miggy Almiron cut defences apart during that period around this time last year and onwards towards Christmas. Got found out a little bit at the back end of last season, didn't quite work. The new one is the inside run from the number 8, Sean Longstaff. We've seen it all the way through from the start of the season. I mean, the person who looked like he was, it might have been a bit of a dive. I think the referee's seen that. But you go back to the San Siro even, the inside runs, the main threat Newcastle had in that first half was Longstaff being found on the inside channel. And he consistently has been doing that, and he's starting to get goals, chances to score goals now. And I don't see anybody really finding an answer to that, such as Newcastle's speedy play, the way they move it around. And that was helped massively by Murphy, like you said today. I think he gave a different kind of option to Almiron, because it wasn't always inside. A lot of the time it's outside and he stretches the play. But Trippier's tremendous, absolutely tremendous. Long may it continue. Right, Fabian Schär for me, right. I just think there needs to be some respect put on this bloke's name. There really does. Like, I think most people who watch Newcastle all the time know how good he is. We do respect him. The bloke hasn't got a song though. He hasn't even got a song. He doesn't really even. I don't think many people come away from St James's Park and put Fabian Schär as their star man, and that's. Are we showing him enough respect? Are we not? I think he was star man today. I thought he was tremendous. His defensive work is excellent, and he showed a real want to carry the ball forward and progress things for Newcastle United today, which there aren't many defenders, as you put in your match ratings. Let's point everyone towards them. Shields Gazette, Newcastle World. Player ratings, get involved with the comments and get involved with the debate. But you put it in yours that there aren't many like him can do that, can progress the ball with this sort of silky, sort of smooth. He's not dynamic or anything like that. He's just really smooth in all of his mannerisms, and he's got a lovely technique. He's got a bit of bite about him as well. He's not soft. And I think one of the. I think there's a. Look, I'm going to go big here. I think we might have a sort of defensive legend in one midst. Sorry, I do think time will reflect really well on Fabian Schär. Like, we all look with misty eyes back at the likes of Philippe Albert of the past and think of, is there any better football in centre-halves than him? Fabian Schär, I think, since the start of last season, has arguably been Newcastle's best performer and most consistent performer week in, week out. Look, touch wood, long gone are the days of these sort of moments of madness where he gifts opposition teams goals. He used to be a little bit susceptible to sometimes defensive headers. You know, if you could get balls in the box, you would be susceptible. Those kind of things seem to have been ironed out, and whether that's because of the structured nature of Newcastle United's team. We saw the best of Fabian Schär under Rafa Benitez previously. The same for Jamal Lascelles alongside him. And what that team was structured in every sense of the word. This Eddie Howe team defensively is also not quite to Rafa's extent, but is structured defensively. And it's no surprise that without the Steve Bruce-induced chaos, that the team selection and formations and systems were brought about by Bruce, that we're actually seeing the best out of some of these players. And it's not necessarily the players, I think they are getting better and they are better players under Howe, but it doesn't take that. It just takes a bit of structure around them for defenders to look better players. And I genuinely think Fabian Schär, I think time will really reflect well on his time at this football club. And the saddest bit about it for me is if you go and sign a 24-year-old or 25-year-old Fabian Schär now, it will cost you 50, 60, 70 million pounds to go and sign a player like that. Newcastle United picked him up. I think you said probably one of the best value for money transfers the club's probably ever known. I think you're not really going to get much better than a £3.5 million centre-half who's been your best player for 18 months and you qualified for the Champions League, beating the likes of PSG and fighting it out in the top four. It's just, it's an incredible story, but it's an incredible story among many. And I think, yes, I think Schär will be reflected upon in years to come as one of probably the most value for money players this club's ever seen, and one of its best performers, no matter what he cost. And that's what I'm saying, that the toughest thing for me to accept with Schär, is that I was going to burst into song there, but I thought not for the Geordie journals. Schär, I think, is those years under Bruce. I think if we'd seen the one under Rafa and we'd seen the Schär as we see now, there's almost like a middle part where there's probably 2 to 3 wasted years of a bloke who's now in his 30s, and you just wish you could almost roll the clock back, because you could see Fabian Schär producing these kind of performances for years and years to come. But it's going to be difficult for him going into his 30s to continue doing that, although Kieran Trippier every day sort of dispels that myth that things sort of go on a downward trajectory into your 30s. And I'm saying they don't. Actually. At 36, yes, the pace and the legs goes, but you've still got it up there. Right. What else was saying? I think we'll probably have to address the Sandro Tonali situation. Yeah. Talk us through that one, lads.
Yeah.
Not the ins and outs of it, obviously.
No.
But obviously what we're seeing here at St James's Park.
Yeah, obviously I think he was introduced 20 minutes before the end. St James's Park, all 4 stands stood up, applauded him, sang his name. And then a really quite emotional moment at the end, the lap of honour. So you hear that honour that Newcastle do after every home game. Sandro Tonali stands at the front of the lap of honour. A gesture by Eddie Howe, I think, he was asked about that afterwards and felt it was important that Tonali did that. And
did Howe say he thrust Tonali to the front? He said
yeah,
it was. He did say that, didn't he?
Told him to do.
I mean, that's as big a show of support publicly as you can get, really. He can say all he wants in press conferences, but to do that in front of 52,000 people here, to thrust the man who's had probably one of the toughest couple of weeks of his life. I think we could stand here and debate the positives and, not the positives and negatives, the situation itself and whether it's been brought upon himself and other things like that, and the fact that this is a really challenging subject to address in many ways for a number of different reasons with regards to the wider football environment and from an addiction perspective as well. But it was a big show of support from Eddie Howe, and I think the fans showed that as well. We had war flags before the game, very clear in their message that there was no other flags and there was purely the Forza Tonali one right in the middle of the Gallagher over there. Was a clear sign. And look, I think whatever comes now, I think there's a lot being said today here at St James's Park, and we don't know what the future holds for the player. or the situation with regard to the prosecutors over in Italy, or what implications that could have on club, player and beyond. But I think there was a big sign today that Newcastle United supports Sandro Tonali, the player and the person. And the person, that's what Eddie Howe keeps saying is really the most important thing in all of this. Anything to add, Dom?
No, I agree. I think it was just Eddie Howe asked supporters before the game in his pre-match press conference, show support for Sandro Tonali, get behind him, and it happened from before the game. There was a sort of a muted cheer when his name was read out over the PA as a substitute, but then when he was warming up just here behind us, that's when I think the crowd pretty much got on their feet, or at least a very warm applause and cheer, started singing his name, the song, and from that moment on, I think Sandro Tonali will have felt that love, as Eddie Howe described it. And yeah, to see him at the end sort of leading the post-match celebrations, it'll be a good moment for him, just to know he's got an entire club behind him, not just internally the players, the staff. It's a big supporter base here too that are very much behind Sandro Tonali in a difficult time, and what will probably continue to be a difficult time for the player amid all this sort of uncertainty as well. So yeah, important win. I think it shouldn't overshadow it too much. It was a big win for Newcastle, but yeah, like you say, it felt fairly routine in the end. Sandro Tonali's coming on 4-0 up. Eddie Howe makes 4 changes, and the tempo of the game sort of peters out from there, doesn't it? And they just see the game out 4-0. Easy, happy Saturday afternoon, and what is becoming a more and more regular thing. I think I said to you during the game, Newcastle are almost like, sounds a bit over the top and hyperbolic, but they're like a Man City light in the fact that they can blow teams away, and 4-0 wins, 5-1 wins are almost par for the course now. Newcastle have to not turn up, which they do sometimes, a lot more frequently than Man City. They don't quite have that consistency down yet, but Newcastle winning games, being the top scorers in the Premier League this season, having the best goal difference in the Premier League, it doesn't come as a shock anymore. They are up and back in the European places now, and the form they're in, 8 games unbeaten, things are going really well.
Right, I've just had a couple of little ideas for video things there, but I think we'll wrap this one up now. I think 17 minutes waffle is more than enough for you guys out there, and from the Geordie Journos today. You know what to do: like, comment, share, subscribe. We really appreciate all the views that we get and everything that you guys commit to the channel. We'll keep committing as long as you guys love it out there. Click the bell. It'll subscribe you to everything that we do on Geordie Journos. We've even been venturing out with a little bit of live today, so do keep an eye out for that popping up, as well as our usual shorts and usual videos. Next up for us will be Dortmund, and that comes on Wednesday, and these 2 guys behind me, and possibly myself if I can actually get myself away from my desk, will be here at St James's Park for that press conference. Sean Longstaff and Eddie Howe will be up facing the press on Tuesday tea time-ish, and then the players out here behind me on the pitch, you can kind of see over me and Dom's shoulder here, will be Dortmund's players warming up and do a little bit for the cameras, which we might be able to capture a bit of that too. So yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys this week.